You want to leave generational wealth for your children and for their children and for their children to come. They don't mind living the status quo. And again, that is okay, but that is not your path. Moral of that story is y'all are not the same. My name is Sabrina Rainique and welcome to my channel. On this channel, we live a life that we love while planning for the life that we want, all through personal finance, travel, and lifestyle. I recently celebrated a birthday and I feel like birthdays are always a good time for reflection. One of the things that I've been reflecting on is just how much I've learned in my personal finance journey and how much I've grown and just the money lessons learned from my 20s. And trust me, I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot of this through experience, but I really want to take some time to show you what I've learned in my 20s and hopefully help you along your personal finance journey. Y'all, I really am dropping gems in this one, so let's get into it. Please hit that like button and subscribe. One of the first things that I learned, and honestly one of the most important things that I've learned, is that as soon as you get 2 cents to your name, as soon as you get some dollars that you can spend, people are going to start telling you how you should spend your money, what you like, what you don't like, what's gonna work well for you, what you're gonna enjoy, what you're gonna hate, and it really can get out of hand. Now, this really comes into play with marketing. So the whole premise with marketing is that they are trying to convince you that you need more, that you need something else to be better. So they're like, try this anti-aging cream so you can look younger. Guys, if you wear this cologne, she's gonna wanna go on a date with you. Get the new iPhone because it does the exact same thing as the other one. We not buying it. So it's Instagram, it's commercials on TV, it's celebrities. I don't think we realize just how much seeing what they do really influences what we decide to buy for ourselves. And of course, it's always the most expensive thing, the most luxurious thing. I have found that the things that I have enjoyed the most fun that I've had, it has nothing to do with how much those things cost. It really was determined by the quality of people that I was with and just the experiences that we created. Now, if you are someone who you're like, no, I really like all-inclusive resorts, or I really like this, luxury item, whatever it may be, I say definitely go for it as long as you know that you truly want that thing. Don't worry about what the media tells you you need to buy, or don't worry about what your friends and your family tell you that you need to buy, what celebrities are buying and telling you to buy. Don't worry about any of that when you are making purchases, because you're going to end up buying those things and then you're gonna feel like it wasn't really all that it was cracked up to be and something's still missing. So the next thing I learned is money is a tool and money should mean options. Having money in the bank really doesn't mean anything. It's not until you say, oh, because I have this money in the bank, now I can take off of work and spend more time with my family, I can travel, I can start this business, I can do whatever. That's when money really starts to mean something to us, because now we have options and these are the things that are enriching to our lives. I've learned not to hold on to money, not to hoard money, not to just watch it stack in my bank account, but really to use money as a tool so that I can have the option to do what I want to do so that it's enriching to my life. A lot of times people hold on to money because they feel like there's no more coming, there's no more where that came from, and that is really coming from a place of lack. But if you truly believe that there is money out there to be made, to be spent, you're then coming from a place of abundance. When you come from a place of abundance, there's definitely more money coming your way. I'm not saying be, frivolous with your money, but don't be Scroogey McScroogeson either. Don't be the person who has tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank account, but they're not enjoying their life. So the third thing I learned is I don't do fees. Nope. Credit card fees, billing fees, late fees, nope. If I get charged a fee, warranted or unwarranted, I am calling that organization and I am asking them to remove it. I cannot tell you how many times when I was younger, I got charged like crazy fees for things, and I was so scared to like speak up and ask for it to be removed. And my sister would literally be like, you better call them and tell them to remove this fee. Try it as it's kept. These companies, it doesn't matter if it's a credit card company or, you know, it's a clothing company, it doesn't matter. Like, they need your business. They know that as a customer, you have tons of options, so they're going to remove that fee for you. Now, this is a sticky one, but one that I have learned and I need to share. Don't lend money that you cannot afford to lend. Someone needed to hear that. But seriously, do not lend money that you cannot afford to lend. And by afford, I mean, did you pay your rent? Did you buy your groceries? Did you pay yourself? Did you pay your credit cards? Like, are you good? Are you set before you decide to lend money to someone? Are your priorities set? And if they are, go ahead and feel free to lend that money. However, if your priorities are not taken care of, do not feel like you have to give someone your last to show that you care about them or that you're supporting them. There are so many valuable things that you can do for someone who's in need that have nothing to do with money. You can share their resume, you can share a job posting, you can introduce them to someone who's hiring and need their services. And all of that can have a much longer lasting effect on their financial situation as opposed to just giving them money. All in all, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's not selfish to make sure that your priorities are taken care of before lending money. Not only that, money can oftentimes strain relationships. So you have to be really, really careful about the circumstances in which you lend money and who you lend your money to. Over the years, I have learned who I lend money to and who I do not lend my money to. I just don't want to see anyone losing friends or family members because they put themselves in a compromising situation when lending the money to the individual, and a whole kind of fiasco comes out of that. So just say that all to say, be very careful and make sure that your priorities are set before you lend that money. And then on the other hand, be very careful about who you lend your money to. So before I buy something, I always ask myself, how was I getting along without it? And here comes that marketing again. They will market the vacuum scooper 2000, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I really need a vacuum scooper 2000, yeah, Now multiply that by all of the ads and things and marketing that we see throughout a month, and then all of a sudden you spend $1,000 on things you never really needed. Before I buy anything, I'm always asking myself, how was I getting along without this? Is this thing going to save me time? Is it going to save me money? If not, I ain't getting it. Another thing that I have learned is just ask for a cheaper option, see what they say. I cannot tell you how many times I have asked for like a discount or for a cheaper option, and lo and behold, there was a cheaper option. I remember canceling my subscription for something because it was like $100, and I was like, yeah, I do not want to pay that. So I call the company and I'm like, yeah, I want to cancel. All of a sudden, the representative is like, oh, well, we have this, cheaper option, and yeah, we can, really work with you. Just let us know what the issue is. Sir, where were you when they charged my card for $100? Where were you? So I say that all to say, every company, every organization for the most part, if they are selling a product, they really need your business, like you. They need your business, and they will do anything to keep it. So always ask for a discount. A lot of times they have them and they'll give it to you. You just gotta ask. So another thing that I've also learned over the years is before you make a big purchase, really see if you can do that yourself. So if you've seen my video about creative things that I've done to save money, you know that I love to do things myself. I learn a new skill, I get to do it exactly the way I like, and I get to save some money. I definitely do understand the trade-off between saving money and convenience, so if I can't produce good quality, I'm not even going to try it. So are you going to see me attempt to do plumbing and electrical work? Mm, Probably not, but I could put together, an IKEA desk or mount a TV or something like that. Moral of that story is see if you can do it yourself, it might be fun. The next thing that I've learned over the years is, if possible, to use your credit card like a debit card. Once you get into debt, especially with these credit cards that have 17 plus interest rates, it can be so difficult to get out of debt. And the reason for that is because having debt with high interest rates it's so expensive. You typically end up paying so much interest, more than the amount you even borrowed in some cases, and it can feel like an uphill battle just trying to get out of that credit card debt. So I do have a credit card, and I really use it for points, and I use it to build my credit, but I always have the money set aside to pay my credit cards. If I don't have the money for something, either I'm going to dip into my savings if it's an emergency or like a high priority item that I need to buy, or I'm just gonna have to wait. Paying my credit card off in full every month has really done wonders for my credit. So a couple years later, I have pretty good credit. So another thing I had to learn is, don't let anyone pressure you into spending money. Y'all, I will never forget when I was in college, I got my first real internship and I was making money. I was making grown people money. And me and a fellow intern, we went to go celebrate our first check. So she picked the restaurant, I did not pick the restaurant. And when we got the bill was like $200. Now, at that point, I was used to like maybe $20 meals. So to see $200 just for two people, I was heated. Now, I didn't say anything at the time, but I definitely learned that lesson that night. Just do not let people pressure you to spend money. So over dinner, we got to talking, and she talked about how she just couldn't wait to buy her mom like all these really nice items, Gucci bags and like Louis bags, like I kid you not. And I think that's fine. I think that's great. However, that was not at all my vision for myself. Me and this young lady, we had two separate goals for ourselves. She wanted to live the high life. She wanted to buy, luxury brands, and she wanted to, spend her money in that way. And that is fine. Like, you go for it. However, I wanted to, retire young. I wanted to travel. I wanted to invest. I wanted to stack and spend money on things that I thought were enriching to my life. So I wanted to travel. I wanted to really make sure that I was enjoying myself through experiences and not buying material items. You are going to come across people that have a completely separate path from you, but they're trying to bring you along on their path. They want to spend money on things that you do not value. So do not let them take you off of your path and go on their path, because you are only going to be upset. You are only going to regret it. So make sure that you don't let anyone pressure you on how you spend your money. You want to leave generational wealth for your children and for their children and for their children to come. They don't mind living the status quo. And again, that is okay, but that is not your path. Moral of that story is, y'all are not the same. And it may just seem like, oh, small things, just dinner here, it's just buying tables in the club there. But over the years, those things really do add up. Now, I'm not saying don't do those things. All I'm saying is be mindful and make sure you're doing those things because you want to, not because someone else is pressuring you to do them. And the last one is one of my favorite things. It's making sure that your priorities are in order and then making sure that you have fun with everything else. You guys already know I love having fun. I love doing things that I genuinely enjoy. And I really suggest making time and prioritizing the things that bring you joy. So this is not what looks cool on the internet or what are my friends doing, what are my family doing. It's really like, what is feeding your soul? What is enriching you? I firmly believe that you can live a life that you really love and really enjoy now, but simultaneously you are planning for your future based off of the life that you want. Honestly, these are money lessons that I've learned in my 20s, but I feel like these are timeless. I would come back to this video when I'm 30 or 40, and I feel like these would still be very relevant. Let me know what money lessons you have learned in your life in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.